My manager always took credit for my work, but karma had other plans. I'm a 27-year-old woman, and I've been working at a marketing company for 4 years. During that time, all my hard work was consistently claimed by a particular coworker, Emma. She started in the same position as me, but eventually became my manager, all seemingly despite the fact that I married her high school crush. It wasn't my fault that people didn't like her, but she held that against me anyway. Ironically, I was the one who recommended her for the job. I felt sorry for her because she told me she had been rejected by multiple companies and had given up trying. I spoke to both the manager and the boss, even exaggerating positive things about her, just to help her get hired. We knew each other from high school. I never had a good impression of her back then, but I believed people could change when they're given responsibility. I was wrong. So wrong. From the moment she got the job, she began cutting off my contributions and claiming to our superiors that she had done everything herself. Of course, I didn't know this at first. She did it all behind my back. At the time, I had more seniority and could have refuted her, so she kept her actions hidden. My ideas became her ideas. My work became her work. This continued until she was promoted to supervisor. By then, I already suspected something was off. She had done little to no real work, and yet she was getting ahead faster than I was. I confronted her about it, and she told me that the boss liked her more and that my performance had been slipping. I knew that wasn't true. My work was all over the company. She kept repeating the same excuses until she received a second promotion to manager after the previous manager was demoted for underperformance. I suspected she had something to do with that too, but I had no solid proof, so I let it go. Once she became the manager, she revealed her true self without any filter. She admitted she had stolen my work and passed it off as her own to both the manager and the boss. That's how she climbed the ladder. I asked her why she did it, and her answer was simple. She was still bitter that I married the guy she had a crush on in high school. She said she was a vengeful person and wanted to make me suffer. She warned me that she could fire me easily now that she was in charge, and honestly, I believed her. She had the power to make up a reason and have anyone dismissed. But I wasn't afraid of being fired. I didn't need the company. In fact, it was the opposite. While the company itself wasn't huge, most of our clients came from prestigious companies across the country, and the majority of them came through me. I had always treated people with respect, even back in primary school, and that's why many of those clients became my close friends. One word from me, and they would leave the company. But I never wanted to do that. The company and the boss hadn't wronged me. Only Emma had. Eventually, others working under Emma began to see her true colors. Since she got her position by stealing my work, she lacked the qualifications to lead. And now, she was doing the same thing to everyone else, taking credit for their efforts. Some tried to report her to HR, but it was always her word against theirs. She claimed they were jealous because she had risen through the ranks faster than them. They even approached the boss, but she gave him the same excuse. Eventually, many of them considered resigning, but I stopped them. I told them to hang on just a bit longer. I knew that someone like her couldn't stay in power forever. She kept claiming other people's work and slacking on her own duties until the boss finally took notice. After constant complaints from employees, he started to grow suspicious. That's when I decided it was time to share the evidence I had collected. I apologized to the boss for sugarcoating her behavior in the past and for recommending her in the first place. He told me it was okay. After all, I didn't know her true nature back then. That was true. She never had friends, even in school, so I had no idea what she was really like. The boss told me he would take appropriate action and asked me to wait. Sure enough, just 3 days later, he called me into his office. What he had discovered shocked even me. Stealing credit for work was just the least of what she had done. Turns out, she had also been stealing money from the company since she became manager. She had access to company funds, and the amount she took was not small. The boss told me he was involving the authorities. I never imagined she would go that far. Taking credit is one thing. Stealing money from the company? That's a crime. Thankfully, to my knowledge, she lived alone and was very frugal, even with herself. so I was sure the money was still around. The next day, before we even clocked in, the police arrived at the office. You should have seen her face when they said they were looking for her. She started shouting that she hadn't done anything illegal. The boss calmly presented all the evidence and told her she was fired. With everything laid out in front of her, she had no way to deny it. She stopped struggling when the officers handcuffed her. The boss smiled at me and said he couldn't have done it without my help. A week later, he called me again to share the results of the case. Emma had hidden the stolen money in the form of cash and gold bars in her home. She even had a plan to resign after getting me fired. Then he offered me a newly created position, general manager, above the manager level. He said it was rightfully mine, considering how much of my work had been claimed by someone else. The former manager who had been unfairly demoted got his job back and thanked me profusely for helping clear his name. As for Emma, I don't care anymore. I've learned my lesson. Never go out of your way for someone whose true character you don't know. When I told my husband everything, he said this was exactly why he had rejected Emma in the past. Even he hadn't expected her to go this far. But now, she's no longer our problem. Like and subscribe. Share this if something similar has happened to you or someone you know.